I sat at my drawing desk, staring at the unfinished sketch on my computer screen. The soft light from the small desk lamp cast shadows on my face, creating a mix of light and dark patches in the tiny room. Ever since I was a kid, I loved drawing. Unlike other children who enjoyed playing outside, I just wanted to spend hours with my colored pencils and sketchpad. I created countless characters, from superheroes to magical creatures in my own imaginary world. My family always looked at me strangely, especially my mom. To her, my passion was nothing more than a pointless hobby. "One day you'll have to grow up, Grace," she'd often say, clutching a dish towel tightly in her hands. "You can't live in a fantasy world forever." Whenever she said that, I would just stay silent, plug in my headphones, and keep drawing, letting her words drift away like a passing breeze. My older sister, Emily, was truly the pride of the family. She had always excelled in school, got into a prestigious university, landed a stable office job, and married Ethan, a successful software engineer. Everything about Emily was perfect in my parents' eyes. Our living room wall was filled with her certificates, graduation photos, and happy family portraits of Emily and Ethan. As for me, all I had was a small, quiet corner where I hung my drawing. After graduating from high school while all my friends were getting ready for college, I shocked my family by deciding not to apply to any university. Instead, I enrolled in an online 3D modeling course. My mom looked at me as if I had just said something unbelievable. "Are you serious, Grace? Everyone in this family goes to college, and you're the only exception," she said, her voice a mix of disappointment and anger. I tried to explain the world of animation on YouTube, how content creators could make a living from their passion. I had followed many popular animation channels, learned how they told stories, built characters, and created captivating short films. But to my family, especially Emily, my explanations sounded no different than childish dreams. "You think YouTube is a real job?" Emily asked, her eyes filled with both surprise and sarcasm. "We all want what's best for you, Grace. You can't rely on your drawings forever." Ethan, sitting next to her, nodded in agreement. "I have a friend at a media company. If you want, I could get you an internship. It's better than staying home drawing random stuff." I knew they didn't believe in me. Their words felt like needles poking into my self-esteem, but I didn't let it stop me. Instead, I became more determined to prove that I could achieve something from my passion. I started my own YouTube channel, uploading short animated videos. Even though, at first, they only got a few views and mostly unkind comments, Emily and Ethan seemed to enjoy criticizing me. At every family dinner, they would find a way to bring up my YouTube channel. "Oh, have you seen Grace's new video?" Emily asked, her lips curling into a smirk. "Look at the comments. People say her characters look like they came from an old video game." Ethan burst into laughter, while my parents just sighed in disappointment. But I didn't give up. Instead of letting their words drag me down, I turned them into motivation. I spent hours studying successful channels, analyzing each frame, learning how they made smooth animations and told engaging stories. I revamped my drawing style, created more dynamic characters, and crafted better narratives. I wasn't just drawing, I was building an entire world, a place where I had full control. At first, my channel had only a handful of subscribers, but slowly the numbers began to grow. One morning I woke up to see that I had reached 500 subscribers. It wasn't a huge number compared to bigger channels, but to me, it felt like a sign that my efforts were finally paying off. I started receiving positive comments and encouragement from complete strangers. They loved my characters, enjoyed the stories I told. It was like I was slowly stepping out of Emily's shadow. However, not everyone was happy about it. Every time I shared a new milestone, Emily would find a way to overshadow it. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, she threw a big birthday party for Ethan on the same day, drawing all the family's attention. When I received an offer to collaborate with a small game developer, Emily announced that she and Ethan were buying a new house, making my news seem insignificant. Despite everything, I kept going. Emily's words no longer bothered me as much. Every day, I dedicated more time to learning, perfecting my skills. With each new video, I could feel myself improving, and not long after, 1,000 subscribers turned into 1,000, then 500,000. My channel started gaining attention from small sponsors, and I began earning a bit of income from ads. I knew the road ahead was still long and filled with challenges, but I also knew that as long as I didn't give up, as long as I kept drawing and telling my stories, there would come a day when I could prove to my family that my passion was not meaningless. But I didn't give up. Instead of letting those words bring me down, I turned them into motivation. I spent hours studying popular channels, analyzing every frame, learning how they created smooth animations and captivating storytelling. I refined my drawing style, developed more vibrant characters, and crafted more engaging stories. I wasn't just drawing, I was building an entire world where I had control over everything. At first, my channel only had a few dozen subscribers, but gradually the numbers began to climb. One morning, I woke up to see that my channel had surpassed 500 subscribers. While that number was nothing compared to larger channels, to me, it was a sign that my efforts were finally starting to pay off. I began receiving positive comments and encouragement from complete strangers. They loved my characters and enjoyed the stories I told. It felt like I was slowly stepping out of Emily's shadow. But not everyone was pleased about it. Whenever I shared a new milestone, Emily found a way to overshadow it. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, she hosted a birthday party for Ethan on the same day, turning all the family's attention to them. When I received a collaboration offer from a small game publisher, Emily announced that she and Ethan were buying a new house, leaving my parents uninterested in my achievement. Even so, I kept going. Emily's words no longer bothered me as much. Every day, I dedicated more time to learning and honing my skills. With each new video release, I could clearly feel my progress. Not long after, 1,000 subscribers turned into 1,000, then 500,000. My channel started catching the attention of small sponsors, and I began earning some income from ads. I knew that the road ahead was still long and filled with challenges, but I also knew that as long as I didn't give up, as long as I kept drawing and telling my stories, there would come a day when I could prove to my family that my passion was not meaningless. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. From those early days with just a handful of subscribers, my YouTube channel had grown to over 1 million followers. It had been a journey filled with sleepless nights in front of my computer screen, countless failed attempts, and those moments when I wanted to quit but reminded myself that I couldn't stop. I had built my own world, where animated characters not only came to life, but also conveyed meaningful and heartfelt stories. Income from YouTube was no longer just spare change. Ads, sponsorships, and even merchandise featuring my characters provided a steady revenue stream. I still remember the first time I signed a sponsorship deal with a renowned graphics software company. The amount they offered was so surprising that I had to reread the email 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. My t-shirts, keychains, and animated character toys sold out within hours of launching. That feeling, a mix of pride and disbelief, was like living in a dream I feared might disappear if I opened my eyes. I decided it was time to share my success with my family. Every month, we still maintained our Sunday dinners at my parents' house. This time, I wanted to give them something special. Mom cooked my favorite honey-glazed roasted chicken, Dad sat in the corner reading his newspaper, and Emily and Ethan, along with their 2 young kids, had arrived early, filling the house with cheerful laughter. Everything felt warm and peaceful. "I have some good news to share," I said, setting my fork down and looking around the dining table. All eyes turned to me. Even Emily stopped talking to Ethan to listen. "I just rented a new apartment downtown. It's not very big, but it's fully equipped, and I'll be moving out next week." The atmosphere seemed to freeze for a moment. My mom dropped her spoon onto the plate, the clatter startling my little niece. Emily blinked repeatedly, while Ethan cleared his throat to mask his surprise. "Are you joking, Grace?" Dad asked, his voice a mix of curiosity and a hint of worry. "No, Dad. I've been saving up from my work on YouTube. I can take care of myself now without needing anyone's support." I smiled, feeling joy radiate from my chest. Emily laughed, but her smile lacked warmth. I thought you were still just making those little videos. Does YouTube really pay that much? It's not just YouTube, I replied calmly. I've signed sponsorship deals and earned extra income from selling merchandise. Honestly, if I wanted to, I could even buy a house, but for now, I just want to experience living independently in my new apartment. The entire table fell into silence. I couldn't tell if they were surprised by my success or if their preconceived notions about my chosen path had been completely turned upside down. Since that day, everything started to change. My parents, who had always complained about the electric and water bills, suddenly began to casually mention their financial difficulties. My mom said the refrigerator was old and needed to be replaced. Dad hinted that his car was breaking down more often lately. At first, I helped them by covering these expenses. I thought I was showing my love and gratitude to my family. Then there was Emily. She no longer wore her usual fancy clothes, instead opting for more modest outfits, and dark circles began to appear under her eyes from lack of sleep. One time, while we were in the kitchen washing dishes, Emily admitted that Tom had his work hours cut, and the rent and childcare costs were weighing heavily on them. Without hesitation, I set up a monthly transfer to her account, helping her family through the tough times without anyone else knowing. But it seemed that the more I helped, the more I was being taken advantage of. Financial requests from my family kept increasing. My mom started calling me every week, not to ask how I was doing, but to remind me about bills that needed to be paid. My dad no longer hesitated to bring up the costs of home repairs, and Emily didn't think twice before asking me to buy school supplies and new clothes for her kids. Even so, I still felt like I was doing the right thing. I believed that if I had the ability, helping my family was only natural. But I didn't realize that I had become their financial provider, and the warmth of family love had been replaced by the cold numbers on the bills. Eventually, I realized that I needed to do something bigger for myself. I had enough financial stability and skills to take my career to the next level. Instead of just working from home, I decided to rent an office, build a professional animation content production team, and establish my own brand. The new office, with large glass windows and natural light flooding the space, gave me a sense of freedom and creativity. I hired a team of animators, writers, and even a project manager to help me run the company. We started working on bigger projects, not only for YouTube but also in collaboration with brands and television channels. Every workday brought me closer to my dream. I also bought myself a new car. Not something too extravagant, but enough to make me feel like I had truly entered a new chapter of my life. I continued to help my family, still paying bills and supporting Emily, but deep down, I started to feel like something was off. I couldn't tell where real family love ended and where the exploitation began. But things didn't stop there. The first signs of betrayal had started to appear, though I hadn't noticed them yet. And when the truth finally revealed itself, it would shatter everything I had believed in. One Sunday morning, my mom called and asked me to help her clean the house. She said the house was a mess after my dad's 60th birthday party and she needed an extra hand. I agreed immediately, thinking this was a chance to spend time with my family and maybe feel a bit more connected to them. When I arrived, the house was unusually quiet. Mom said everyone else had gone out shopping, leaving just her at home. She led me upstairs to the attic, where old boxes and stacks of documents were piled high. I wanted to organize everything, but there's so much. I don't even know where to start. She sighed. I rolled up my sleeves and began opening each box, sorting through old documents, photographs, and keepsakes. While cleaning, I came across a pale yellow envelope hidden among the old papers. The envelope was relatively new, not yellowed or creased like the other documents. I picked it up and it clearly displayed my parents' names along with the words "Last Will and Testament." My heart began to race and a bad feeling washed over me. Hesitantly, I opened the envelope and started reading the neatly printed lines on the legal document. Every word felt like a knife twisting in my mind. The will clearly stated that all assets, including the house, the car, and my parents' savings, would be entirely transferred to Emily after they passed away. My name was nowhere to be found. I stood frozen in the small attic, the world around me spinning. Everything I had done for my family, the bills I paid, the repairs I managed, the shopping for household needs, and even the monthly financial support for Emily, meant nothing. It felt as if the ground had collapsed beneath me. Part of me wanted to believe this was just a misunderstanding, that perhaps there was another will with my name on it, or at least that my parents had a reasonable explanation for this. Hearing footsteps on the stairs, I looked up. My mom was walking in, holding a glass of lemonade. When she saw me with the envelope, her face turned as pale as paper. "Grace, what are you doing?" Her voice trembled. "Mom, what is this?" I asked, my voice so soft it was nearly a whisper. "Why is everything being left to Emily? What about me?" She set the glass on the table, her expression turning colder than I had ever seen. "Emily needs it more than you, Grace. You have your own career, your own company, a stable income. But Emily, she's raising 2 kids, and Tom just lost his job. Don't you think families should support each other?" "But I've been supporting her," I burst out, unable to hold back the hurt. "I've been paying her rent, buying school supplies for the kids. I've done everything I could, but does none of that mean anything to you?" "We never asked you to do those things," she replied, her tone final, as if ending the conversation. "That was your choice. And now, you're selfish enough to demand a share of the inheritance? You've already got more than enough." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So this is what you really think of me? That I'm selfish? That I don't deserve anything in this family?" My dad appeared at the doorway, clearly having heard the conversation. "Grace, you're overreacting. We're family. Emily needs more help than you do. You need to understand that." "I understand," I said with a bitter laugh. "I understand that I was never truly part of this family. I was just the one standing behind, paying for everything, receiving nothing but contempt in return." I turned around and left the attic without waiting for more excuses. I knew that anything they said now would only hurt me more. As I reached the front door, I heard my mom call out, "If you walk out that door, don't expect to come back." I stopped, turned back to look at them one last time. "Fine, I won't come back." I went back to my apartment, slammed the door shut, and let the tears flow freely. I felt empty, as if I had just lost something incredibly precious. It wasn't the money or the assets. It was my trust in my family, in the bond we were supposed to share. In the days that followed, I began cutting off all financial support to my family. There were no more transfers to Emily's account, no more checks to cover my parents' utility bills. I stopped responding to messages, declined calls, and slowly retreated from their lives. When they realized I had truly pulled back, they started to pressure me. Emily took to social media, labeling me as a selfish sister who abandoned her family in difficult times. My mom didn't hesitate to post sad, passive-aggressive status updates, suggesting that I had betrayed them, saying a dutiful child would never treat their family this way. But they hadn't expected that other relatives, those who knew what I had done for the family, would speak up in my defense. Every comment under Emily's posts was filled with support for me, recounting the things I had done, reminding them of the gifts and financial help I had given. In the end, their own words backfired. My mom went silent, and Emily stopped posting altogether. I didn't know what they were thinking, but I understood that no explanation was needed anymore. I just wanted peace. To no longer feel exploited. To stop feeling like I had to prove myself to those who never truly valued me. And so, I began to rewrite my own story. No longer a side character in someone else's life, I became the main character in my own journey to find true happiness. I sat in the armchair by the window, the afternoon sunlight filtering through the thin curtains, casting soft streaks of light across the floor. My phone lay quiet on the table, all contact from my family blocked. From the day I walked out of that house, I had decided not to let myself get caught in the cycle of manipulation and hurt ever again. The SUV I had gifted my parents for their 35th wedding anniversary was still under my name. All this time, I had been the one paying for the insurance and maintenance. I remembered the simple joy I felt when I handed them the keys, how their smiles had made it all worthwhile. But now, all of that had turned into nothing but disappointment. I picked up my phone and called the insurance company, requesting the vehicle to be repossessed. The customer service representative's voice was calm and professional. "We'll arrange for a tow truck to retrieve the vehicle within 24 hours, she said. I thanked her, set my phone down, and felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The very next morning, my phone exploded with messages and calls from my mom. "Grace, what's going on? Why was my car taken? You can't do this to your own family." I didn't reply. The messages that followed from Emily and Tom weren't much different. They accused me of being selfish, of taking away their livelihood. Silently, I deleted each message, as if erasing every fragment of betrayal they had left behind. A week later, I officially cut off all contact with my family. I changed my phone number, removed them from my social media, and blocked every way they could reach me. I knew this decision wasn't easy, but it was necessary for me to find peace for myself. With the savings from my business and YouTube, I began searching for my dream home. After months of looking, I found a charming little house in the suburbs. The house had a spacious garden, enough room to design my own workspace, and a cozy corner for painting. Owning a place of my own felt truly different. No more scrutinizing looks every time I came home. No more sighs from my mom or passive-aggressive comments from Emily. Each morning, I woke up to sunlight streaming through the windows, starting my day with a hot cup of coffee and a true sense of freedom. I focused entirely on my work and YouTube channel. New projects kept rolling in, from short animated videos to collaborations with major brands. My team expanded as well, adding more talented artists and writers to help bring my creative ideas to life. One day, while editing a video, I received an email from YouTube. "Congratulations on reaching 10 million subscribers." I opened the email, looked at that number, and felt my heart swell with happiness. From a girl once mocked for pursuing her passion for animation, I had become an influential content creator with millions of fans who loved the stories I shared. I hosted a live stream to thank my audience. Messages of congratulations and support poured in from around the world. A young girl messaged me, saying that watching my videos helped her discover her passion for drawing and inspired her to pursue it. A young man shared that my stories helped him get through lonely and difficult times. I realized that I wasn't just creating entertainment, but also providing real value to others. On late afternoons, I often sat on my porch, watching the sunset and wondering if I was on the right path. But every time I looked at my warm, inviting home and my workspace filled with inspiration, I knew I had made the right choices. I no longer felt sadness or regret about my family. They had chosen their path, and I had chosen mine. No more unanswered financial support, no more feeling exploited. I was living my own life. A life full of freedom and color, just like the drawings I used to create as a child. My new life was free from the fake family dinners and double-sided conversations. Instead, I had genuine friends, colleagues who loved their work, and a supportive community of viewers. I started traveling, capturing my journeys through short animated videos, sharing new stories, and continuing to create without limits. I understood that sometimes letting go is the only way to save yourself. And I had done just that. I found true happiness by putting myself first, by daring to say no to things that no longer fit into my life. My story doesn't end here, it's only just beginning. I know the road ahead is still long, but I'm ready to face any challenges, because this time, I am the one writing my story, and no one can take that pen away from me. My story is proof that sometimes real happiness comes from having the courage to let go of toxic relationships, even if they are family. From someone who was always underestimated, I found my worth through my efforts and passion. No longer being taken advantage of, I am free to create, build my career, and live a more fulfilling life. Sometimes, moving forward requires the bravery to close old doors and open new chapters for yourself. What do you think about Grace's story and her brave decisions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit follow to catch more inspiring and meaningful stories about life and family.